Um, yeah, I mean, if you played at Rocket Garage, it's pretty similar to that. It's basically just, you know, picking players based on their values and trying to make the best team possible with the salary that you have. So, yeah, I mean, basically just made the made the site just out of passion for it, and I just wanted to play it. It didn't matter if it was mine or if it was at a different site. It didn't matter to me. I just wanted to play with some friends. So made it, and so far people have been liking it, and I'm hoping it gets some traction. People continue to like it.
Yeah. I know Corrupt's actually the one that told me about it. Corrupt, have you been playing fantasy sports and NBA or NFL or anything like that?
I wasn't really a big fantasy football or basketball player. Um,
Okay.
Usually because I just wasn't really that into fantasy type stuff like that before. But for Rocket League, it just piqued my interest because I think Rocket League is probably one of my favorite sports right now, besides basketball. So being able to do something like fantasy Rocket League is just great for me, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already sitting here on the weekends watching any tournaments that are going on. So, um, it almost just like with the NFL. I'm a big fantasy sports fan. It's just that extra little bit of investment that you root a little bit harder for someone that you may not be necessarily a diehard fan of, but that week you are because they're on your squad and you want to beat your friends. And I think
Right.
that's what's really cool about Rocket League is not only can you go beat your friends in game, but now you can do it fantasy wise too. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, and the game's just nonstop action too. I mean, there's not really many sports out there that are really just nonstop action where a goal can happen at any time. So it's just fun to watch in general, and then you add the element of having to pick players and then root for not only your favorite teams but now your favorite players. It just makes the game even more fun to watch.
yeah, I mean, Rocket League's like the perfect game for our generation. This just like keep me on the edge of my seat. I want the max energy and excitement at all the time, and that's really what you get. You can't look away during the big matches during an overtime, or you might miss Justin, Justin. Like you just never
Exactly.
know when that's gonna happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, and two, I think when people talk about esports, I mean, I think Rocket League will be the biggest esport here in the coming future. Obviously, people talk about all the shooter games, but in terms of an actual consumer-based esport, I don't think there's a game like it because the one thing the shooters don't have is watchability. Like
Yeah.
fan who's someone who doesn't play video games or know the video game, they can see Rocket League and understand, oh, it's soccer with cars. You put the ball in the net. Versus, the shooters, you have to kind of know the characters, you have to know the abilities, you have to know like how hard it is to do things, and also trying to keep up with plays with on the camera. It's just so hard to do. So I think Rocket League has a huge advantage on that, and it's only going to continue to grow in viewership.
Yeah, there's no barrier to entry. I mean, you look at a game like League of Legends where there's new characters and abilities and meta changes and tune-ups and reworks and all that stuff. So as a fan, you have to pay attention or you're going to be lost watching that stream. None of that's
Yeah,
changing in Rocket League.
yeah, I agree, like wholeheartedly. I think just being able to know that if you watch a Rocket League game and that, 6 months from then the game itself as a whole is gonna change drastically, is a big draw for a lot of people. And I know a lot of people that, already watch like football or basketball and stuff, or just watch soccer in general. They all like this sport because of how simple it is and easy to get into it is, like Dano said. So, and I do believe that Rocket League will continue to grow as an esport as time goes on and on, especially with this new RLCS format that they introduced.
Yeah,
That's a
absolutely.
whole year long.
Yeah, so I don't know about you guys. I just started getting into Rocket League last August. So I've only been playing following it for less than a year now.
Oh,
How long have you
really?
guys been following the pro scene?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't. The way you talk about it You sound like very passionate, like you've been following it for years. So yeah, that's awesome. I've I've played it since 2016.
Okay.
So yeah, what is that, like 5 years now?
Oof.
And yeah, I mean, I've been following since day one and have loved it kind of all the way through. I've just loved everything that Psyonix did. Obviously, when Epic came in, they made some kind of drastic changes, and for the most part, I think they've been doing a great job of keeping it alive, keeping it going. And yeah, I mean, I've pretty much been with it since the beginning.
What about you, Corrupt?
I got into Rocket League the game during 2016, like a week before Neo Tokyo and Masamune came out. I started watching Rocket League from like the beginning, but I was just a casual RLCS fan. I didn't really get into it and become a really big fan until season 3 of RLCS when Northern Gaming won. Uh, and that's probably my favorite team of all time, with Maestro being my
Yep.
favorite player of all time. And just overall, after that season, I was just hooked, especially since, my favorite team of all time won championships. So there was no way I was going to be able to leave.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of it was kind of a shock to me when I started playing Rocket League in last fall that this wasn't a huge esport yet. Like League of Legends, a game that's so hard to follow, is regularly getting 100,000 views on their just weekly LCS streams. And yet I hadn't really heard about RLCS, um, even as someone who's just in video games, even if I wasn't playing Rocket League yet. Um,
Right. That's something
so
that's always surprised me too is the viewership. I mean, I understand popularity of the game. You know, if enough people like
mhm.
Fortnite, they're gonna go watch the Fortnite tournaments. But they're just so hard to watch. I mean, um, I think and the production value that Psyonix has, I think, is incredible. They have awesome casters. Everyone, great analysts, things like that. So yeah, I think Rocket League's just that the streaming viewership's got to just keep going up and taking over some of those other games that are above it currently.
Yeah, and the partnership with or the buyout, but from Epic Games could not have come at a better time. Um, they were up the production value for the RLCSX season. This massive, almost coming out party for Rocket League esports. They get Epic buys. They bought Psyonix, right? Or did they just buy the rights to Rocket League?
They bought Scions
Okay,
as a company in
yeah.
whole.
So you add that in. I mean, you see what Epic Games has done with Fortnite in the esports world. So it just adds another level of credibility to Rocket League that a company like Psyonix is willing to not only invest in them but just straight up buy them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, I just lost my train of thought.
Unfortunate.
Yep. Um,
Psyonix will make you do that.
Yes, sir.
yes, they will. I have had many afternoons go by in the blink of an eye, sitting in free play watching RLCS. It's crazy how fast a Sunday afternoon can go by.
Another thing to add on to that point while Perry gets his thought process back, um, is I do like that we are getting cars that were once um, were before Epic acquired Psyonix again, such as the Skyline and the Dodge Charger, the Ecto ones and stuff like that, and finally being able to get our cars such as the Batmobile, the Skyline again, and the DeLorean and stuff from our PS4s. It's just really great. I really like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you actually helped me find my train of thought. They had the RLCS Season X blow up. Epic Games buys them. And with the Epic Games, that's where I was going with it. It became free to play. So now, not only is it the easiest esport to take in, but there's zero barrier to entry. That's where I was trying to get to wrap up my thought there. Um, but I mean, you saw the numbers. I mean, before it went free to play, daily users would be like 100,000, 150,000. And when it went free to play, I mean, regularly over 1 million players online. Like that's a huge influx of new fans into
Yeah.
the esport.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge jump for sure. Because when that happened, it wasn't something that you wouldn't notice. I mean, there was not only content-wise coming from Psionics and Rocket League, but just the gameplay, a lot more players on, a lot more people that are just learning the game, and um, people that haven't even heard of it until it became free to play. Then their friends tell them about it. Yeah, that was huge, and I think it was a good move on their part. And um, I I I thought it should have been free to play from the beginning, but obviously they made the right decision in the end.
Yeah, definitely worked out. Which not only is the game free to play, it's free to watch. It's also free to sign up on FanRL and play Fantasy Rocket League. Talk
Wow,
about a segue right
nice.
there.
Holy,
uh,
wow.
so why
Actually, a
don't you
king right there.
why
Oh
don't you
my
tell us
goodness.
a little bit about FanRL? Kind of, I know you gave us a quick touch on it, but kind of what
Yeah,
inspired you to do it? Not to just kind of create this website on your own.
yeah. So I grew up playing video games, kind of like a lot of people. I also was very into sports. I played football, hockey, lacrosse, volleyball. Like I just played everything. So I was really into sports video games as well. So I was into Madden, NHL, some baseball games as well. And then when Rocket League came out, I just fell in love with the game. I don't think there's a game out there that really makes you feel kind of um, the individual factor that a lot of, when you're playing sports, you can kind of make a play and it really impacts the game. Um, and that's what kind of Rocket League gives you is you all of a sudden can do something that takes over and um, gives you the just like it's so satisfactory to play. It's huge. So yeah, I fell in love with it. So was playing it for years and years and was playing Fantasy Rocket League at Rocket Garage, which unfortunately they went away. Not exactly sure why that happened, and I was just really into fantasy play just because it just made the games a lot more exciting.
Hmm.
You got to talk with your friends and trash talk a little bit, so that was always fun. And so yeah, I just said, well, I mean, I could make a simple version of it. So that's how FanRL got to be created. Took a few months, made it, and the first version came out. I want to say a little over a year ago, and it's just kind of continuing to grow in viewership and sign up. So yeah, I mean, I think everything has been picking up pace there. I mean, I'm very happy that we're able to do this podcast, that you guys, are willing to do this and talk about this stuff, because yeah, I want people to be talking about the RLCS. I want to talk about who's undervalued, who's overvalued, players that they think can pop off in the next tournament based on certain factors. So I'm really happy you guys were able to do this. And yeah, if you haven't already, you can play Fancy Rocket FanRL.
Yeah, we're actually we have a group going for RLCS championships this week. Those are going to be starting on Tuesday, and we'll talk more about them here in a little bit. But if you want to join our league, I'm going to throw the league info in the chat for anyone. You just head on over to FanRL. And there you go. That's the league ID and the password. The three of us already have our teams. We've also got our boy Clutch, who's in the chat. He is just moving, so he will be joining us in the future, but he's getting all settled in. He sends his love. And then we've also got another RSC member in Dur who's going to be joining us, and he's got a team in there as well. So, Corrupt, now you're kind of the one who you kind of. There he is, Clutch with the follow. Make a dance.
Thanks.
You're kind of the one that introduced me to FanRL. You're the one who actually was kind of the brains with Dan about kind of making this whole thing come to life. How long have you been playing on there?
playing on here. I started out in the winter split for FanRL, and we had our own FanRL in the RSC Discord server, and then I made one custom for my franchise. So I've been playing for about, I would say 4 or 5 months now, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, it's for those of you who aren't from RSC. RSC's just an amateur Rocket League league that me, Corrupt, or Clutch. That's how we all know each other.
And
And Dan. Wait, Dan, you're from RSC too?
no,
Oh, I
Der.
thought I said Der. Maybe I just was talking too fast. I think my brain moves faster than my mouth sometimes, or vice versa. I don't even know. The point is, but yeah, RSC. So we've got our league on there. Now, in terms of like, how does it all work from like a scoring aspect, Dan? Like, how do you get the stats? Is there like a delay to it?
So, originally we were working with Octane.gg. Some of you might have heard of them. As of recently, they just did a huge website update, so they're, I know, from a design standpoint, a lot cleaner. I'm hoping that programmatically they're a lot faster with stats, and I know on the previous site it was a little bit um, there was a few errors and a few bugs, things like that. It wasn't horrible, but I ended up switching over to ballchasing.com, which has Rocket League stats for not only pro players and pro games, but also individual. You can look up your stats on there if you want and track them there. So that's where we're currently getting our stats, and they update fairly quickly. I know I talked to the guy who was uploading the replays there and getting the stats updated, um, and so as soon as those get updated, usually it's I'd say like 5 minutes within a series ending. That's usually when when the player stats will actually get updated on the FanRL site. So we're grabbing it from ball chasing, but we're really hoping to obviously close down the time to updating. We're trying to get as real time as we can for these stats. So I guess we'll just have to see what if Octane is able to provide those for these championship games or not. So we might switch to them, but again, we're really just open to whatever it takes to getting stats the fastest. So yeah, that's how we're getting the stats, and then um, in terms of scoring the stats, it's similar to Rocket Garage if you played Fantasy there, which was around a couple of years ago. So it's based on goals, assists, saves, shots, and game score currently, and it's all based on averages. So if a player makes it really far in the tournament and another player only makes it to the quarterfinals, let's say, and the other team makes it to the finals, it's all based on averages through the game. So um, everyone kind of has a chance at making the highest fantasy player for that event.
Yeah, because that makes a big deal. Like especially for championships. I mean, if let's say FaZe loses in the losers lower, and then that's a best of three of best of fives. The next round's a best of three best of fives. Then it's a best of three best of seven, best of three best of seven. So that's just a huge disparity in the number of games. So you're
Yeah.
doing it to average is just so smart.
Yeah, and also, you know, I've never ran a fantasy site before, so I'm kind of learning this as much as anybody else is. So I'm definitely open to changing things, and with the format changes, that definitely made me change the scoring and things like that. So we'll see how the RLCS changes in the coming season, and see how if they change it to back to the way it was, where it was kind of league play versus the tournament style. It kind of all depends on that. And honestly, if people have suggestions for a better way of doing it, I'm all ears. Because, hey, I mean, I don't, I'm not claiming to be some fantasy genius or anything like that. So yeah, if people have a suggestion, let me know in the Discord or something.
Yeah, we're all just a bunch of bunch of guys that play Rocket League. Speaking of which, I'm gonna grab a link here to the FanRL Discord. Let me see here.
Got
I
it.
can put it in there.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
That way, anyone, if you want to get in, go ahead and join there. We're uh, we're gonna get one as well for this podcast, so we'll have that in the future. Um, but yeah, so I play a little bit. I came in, joined RSC probably early March, um, and got in and started. I saw that right away and figured out how to join and was playing. And even though I couldn't really, it wasn't worth looking at the overall standings since Corrupt's up there playing every week and with all his stats and doing all that. I wasn't gonna catch him, so but there's still the just each week you can view the leaderboard that way as well. So even if you forget to swap your lineups a couple times or forget to set it, like you can still see how you're doing just on a week to week basis as well, which is cool. Um, but yeah, so I know we're all going to be playing Fantasy Rocket League this weekend or this coming week with the RLCS Championships.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Yes,
I'm
I'm
sir.
pumped.
so excited. It's been so long since we've had like pro Rocket League. We got so used to RLCSX where it's like bang, 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 Rocket League in your face all the time. And then all of a sudden we don't get it for a month. I'm like, where is it? I need
I know. It's very yeah. They just pulled the rug from under us.
it.
Come on.
Let's see. I'm pulling up. So I just want to touch on OCE and Sam real quick. I know there's a setup a little different, but I do want to give them their love. Let's see. Sam, it looks like is going to be Saturday. This coming Saturday, June 19th. Best of three, best of fives. Looks like it's starting at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Um, Now, Corrupt, I'm going to throw this over to you. I'm not as familiar with Sam and OCE, so um, if you could give me a little insight on that True Neutral versus Furia esports matchup, I'm really curious to know what you think.
Well, yes, sir. So, if you guys haven't been following the SAM region, there's two teams. The two teams that are competing in the South American championships are by far the best two teams in South America, and that's True Neutral and Furia. Now, True Neutral has, I would say, there is a comparison between Oceania and South America where they have, I would say, two BDS level teams just dominating that region specifically. And for Sam, it's true neutral behind Shad, Razeable, AJG, and Agosman. Then on Furious side, you have some recognizable names such as Tander, Shao, Card, and Mattias STL. For this one, I think this championship game is actually going to be really, really close. Um, but I do have True Neutral taking it, just because of their continued dominance of the region itself. Um, but overall, I think it's going to be a great series. I think it's going to go all three sets, and the last set will be a best of seven. I feel. I think for the first two, it might True Neutral might win the first set out of five or six, and then. Uh, Furio might win the next set 7 or 6 in 7 games or 6 games, but I have overall True Neutral taking it in set 3 in 7 games.
Oh yeah,
Corrupt.
I misspoke
Corrupt.
by the way. It is best of three, best of sevens, not best of five. So sorry about that, Dan.
Oh, no worries. Corrupt. I was just gonna ask if, like, what do you think of True Neutral? How, if it was gonna be a world's event that was combining NAEU, all the regions, where
hmm
do you think they would rank in that?
Where do I
I
think
mean,
they would rank?
yeah,
I
I
find
mean, like, do you think that they would compete at the highest level with, teams like BDS and, it all depends on where you kind of rank some of these other NAEU teams, but like, how do you think they would fare there?
I find it hard to rank teams in Oceania and South America. Obviously, we have had a land event in a long time. But I just find it hard because it's obvious that if you watch some of the gameplay, they are just a little bit far behind from EU and NA. But the most frustrating aspect about it is that, especially in Sam, as you see flashes of how good they can truly be, and then that they can, I feel, hold up against some of the middle level teams in both EU and NA.
Right.
But overall, how do I think they would do? I don't think that the best team in South America could probably make it past day two. And that's not any like disrespect to them. I just think that the NA teams and EU teams are just that much better.
Yeah,
But
they
if
have
I
the
had
benefit of scrimming each other every day. Like,
yes,
um,
exactly. That
that's what it's hard to catch up when you're at the top of your ladder. Like, until you can get on a new ladder, there's nowhere else to climb right now.
Right.
something else about LAN in general that is hard to gauge is that there's just sometimes where a team will just randomly just pop off and beat another team. And it's just really hard to gauge. But overall, I think True Neutral is the best team in South America. And I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. And then maybe they can make it to day three. I could just be saying stuff maybe because I'm just underrating them that much. But overall, if I had to say, I just don't see them competing with I just don't see them competing with any of the top level NA or EU teams from
Yeah.
like top eight in any region.
Yeah, and kind of like Platypus was saying too, like uh I don't know, like the speed that the regions have and the daily competition that they are facing, they're so used to a gameplay style where it's like you have to be there, you have to have perfect touches, and to in South America, Oceanic regions, it just seems, not that there aren't great teams,
Yeah.
but they're just not playing as many good teams where they have to be perfect. They have to get the touches. They have to get the timing right on things because that's a thing they get. It's hard to really be at the highest level when you're not facing it consistently.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think anytime you have that conversation, you got to have that clarifier like they did with their top 20 teams, or it's whether it's an RLCS season split or it's scrimming for a month leading into a LAN. Like, I think it's that kind of is going to have a huge impact on how well those teams do. If you give those OCE, and SAM teams a month to scrim against the BDSs and the NRGs and the space stations, like
Right.
they're gonna improve. Now the question is how much, and we don't know that. We won't know that until we get a LAN.
Right.
Which, by the way, as someone who's new to Rocket League, I've seen videos. There is no esport that can compete with Rocket League in terms of LAN excitement because it just so similarly mirrors actual sporting events.
Absolutely.
Yes, I agree totally. And I think it just hiding with the fact that um the next lane is going to be really gigantic because it's just how big the NA versus EU
Oh
rivalry
yeah,
is obviously right now. And just overall that we haven't had a LAN or a president like this in a very, very long time. But I think next lane is going to be insane.
yeah. I don't know if obviously it's hard to keep up if you're BDS. It's hard to keep up the pace they're at right now because that kind of dominance is rare at the highest levels. But man, oh man, do
Yeah.
I want BDS in BDS form because I want we want to settle that argument, right? Like
Yeah.
if BDS falls off a little bit, they get a little bit slower. Everyone's always going to have that question.
Yeah. Yeah. And man, I mean, COVID, I think, has brought out the biggest of the NAEU rivalry, especially. There's been a lot of trash talk, a lot of videos
Yes.
being posted, things like that.
Yeah.
Some funny Twitter banter going back and forth. So, man, I'd really love to see a LAN right now, just because you want to know right now. You don't want to know, 6 months from now when teams have changed, people have added, people have dropped, things like that. I'd love to see a LAN right now. I wish it could happen, but yeah, it hurts to know that we can't have it for just a little while longer.
hmm Yeah, it's I'm sure it's going to be worth the wait. Um now I think you answered Dan's question about the SAM teams in terms of competing with NA and EU. On the flip side, what do you think about those OCE teams and and Ground Zero and Cringe Society because they've got some players who have played at the higher levels.
Yes. I think Ground Zeroes does deserve props, and I think that they could potentially make it to a day 3 of a LAN
Mm-hmm.
RLCS tournament with every team in the world present, or every top team in the world present. I think that Amphis on Ground Zeroes and Torsos are the 2, like, best players in OCE, and it shows
Mm-hmm.
because they have just destroyed that region in the whole. And, I think for this championships, um, I think it's gonna be a sweep both ways in both series. That they're gonna win
Oof.
both sets really easily, and it's just gonna be a 4-0 4-0 against Cringe.
Ooh,
And
Oh.
it's not that, and it not that because
yeah,
Cringe is bad. It's just that Ground Zeroes is just so much better in my opinion. It's just
I'm checking something here. What I want to see, because Ground Zero and Cringe Society, I believe, just played in the OCE major finals. Correct?
yes.
How is that a sweep?
I think Ground Zeroes 1 and 5. I can bring it up right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, no, they got swept. No, yeah, they swept Cringe
It,
Society.
yeah, so I
Eh,
mean, oof. And so,
Don't
so, so you've got that negative vibe in your head, and you know that if it goes bad again, you got to play 8 games. Like
Yes, 8
you
games
get
straight,
4
yes.
0 you got to do it again. And if you happen to win that set, you still got to go do it again. Like I
yep,
don't see. I mean, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt just because I haven't watched as much. I did watch the major. Drip A looked sick. He was he was putting Cringe Society on his back. Um, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I think they're gonna steal a couple games, but I don't see him getting a set. Um, I think I'm gonna go like 4-2, 4-0.
Oof.
I think after losing that first set, the wind in Cringe Society sales will just be gone. That would be back to back series they've lost in big moments to Ground Zero. So I think if that first set goes Ground Zero's way, it's gonna get ugly. So Cringe Society has to come out strong. They got to win that first set, and they gotta get on the board early to have any chance.
yep. It's the only way. You got to somehow steal the momentum, get in their head a little bit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's over.
Um. So yeah. Now that so that's Salmon OCE. Like I said, those are going to be Saturday. I believe both of those are Saturday. Um, yep. So the Sam was it starting at 5 Eastern, and then it is looking like the OCE is starting at 9 Eastern. So on Saturday, that's those. Um, but now I want to talk
The big boys?
the
Yep.
big boys.
Mhm.
Let's get into it.
Let's start with the boys across the pond. Let's take a look at this EU bracket. Got it pulled up so everyone can follow with us. But man, am I excited! I've been waiting for this.
Um, you want me to start out? I'll let you guys go first because I want to be last.
Yeah, I was just looking at
All
it
right.
and trying to
All
find a
right. All
word.
right. All right. I'll throw it out. I'll throw it
let's
out.
let's hear it.
Queso Solary. Queso's been looking really good. They've been hot, especially the last couple tournaments. They've been kind of the team that went from zero to hero this split in the spring split. Solary, which I think Solary is kind of underrated for um, how much credit people give them. I think they're a great team. I really think Queso's pulling it out. Um, I mean, I think it will be closer than people think, though. I mean, I think a lot of people are picking Queso to make a good run, but I got Queso in that one. Um, top top blokes in guild, I think either one can come out of that. Doesn't matter to me. they're getting dominated by Vitality next one. I think Guild's
Ooh,
good, and
that's ooh.
people s- people give a lot of credit to Guild. I think Guild's good, but I think Vitality's on their game. I think they got the experience. I think they're making the grand finals. Um,
If you could see me, I'm making a T Bates face right now.
Thanks. All right. So then, let's say you got top bloke Queso. I think Queso beats top blokes, no problem. BDS, you're coming in against Queso. I think that'll be the matchup to watch. I think that's the one everyone's going to want to be watching. Unless somehow it's Guild versus Queso. If Guild loses and moves down, then that'll be the matchup to watch. Because I think Queso is I think the team that everyone has their eye on right now. Just because they are able to pull out these upsets, and they're a great team. I think they maybe not have like the biggest names on their team, but they're all just so solid and they're all extremely fast, great team play, and I think they're gonna make a great run. But if it comes down to Queso BDS, I gotta give to BDS, and yeah, so BDS Vitality in the championship and BDS winning it, and maybe that sounds like the basic white girl answer, but I'm gonna go BDS winning
Uh,
it.
I mean, when you get rack up over 5,000 points in an RLCS season, you can't go wrong picking them. Like, no one's gonna fault you for that.
Yeah,
Now, what I am
yeah, and
curious about, and Corrupt, I don't know if you can help me find this. I know Queso's playing in IWO, so I was trying to see, did they make it through? Is that the Europe
I don't
West?
think they qualified.
I don't think so either. Astral did. I forget who. I think he's on a team like Astral and Friends or something.
also I'd like to shout out Clutch in the chat. He's saying Josh said if he plays the way he did in the major, Solar's gonna be hard to beat. I
Yeah.
totally agree, and that's why I think that's going to be my favorite matchup to watch is Queso versus Solar because I really think that's going to be close, but I do see Queso pulling it out. But I wouldn't I'm not going to be shocked if Solar comes out on top of that either because you have Astral, you got shot like Astral.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's top 3 players in EU, and
I
you got the
agree.
experience behind him.
I agree.
So
He's top 10
it's
worldwide for sure.
anybody see his
I
world
think he's
record
top
on
5.
uh that new custom map? Anybody see that?
Mm-mm.
All
I
right,
did not.
I'll link it in the chat.
Queso is still competing for IW. Okay. Um.
All right, I'm done with
So
my
yeah. Well,
rant.
while you're linking that, I'll take my shot. Queso is
Okay.
so hard to predict. I'm gonna go with Solary, just because of recent forms. Like Clutch said, the way Shawset played in that major, we know Astral's gonna show up, but it's just a matter of whether he has to put Farah and Shawset in the backpack or just Farah. If Shawset shows up, um, I think they get by Queso. I think it's gonna be a great series, like you said, but I do think we'll get 3 sets out of that one. But I'm gonna take Solary in 3 sets.
Ooh,
Um, top jokes, top
top
jokes,
top jokes,
Top
top
chokes.
jokes,
Top
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 chokes.
jokes.
top jokes
Yes.
are top jokes are going down
Damn.
to the lower quarters in 2 sets.
All right, all right.
Guild, Nally, Devo, though they have been just they've been playing so well lately, and they're just getting so much confidence from it. Um, Archie knows Rostermania's coming up. He's not going to be playing with those guys in a couple weeks. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna send Top Jokes is going down to play Solary, um, and they're losing that too. So right now in my semis, I've got Vitality and Guild, and
Yep.
then Solary BDS.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh man, those are 4 good teams. Um, I made the T Bates face to
I'll,
you saying Vitality was gonna whoop up on Guild. Um, yeah, I don't see that. Again, maybe I have the blessing of being naive and not have followed Rocket League during the K. Fairy Peak glory days, but
Uh huh.
nothing I have seen since I've started watching Rocket League has said that these guys are a top tier team. Yeah, they're competing. They're an RLCS team for sure, but this this narrative of them just being flat out the second best team in EU is just baffling to me. I think Guild wants the rematch with BDS, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
and I could see that because I don't. I agree with you. Vitality isn't a team that is gonna wow people. It's not the team that's like, oh, they're clearly the second best team. They have like these all star, like they have name players. They have experience, but
now, if it was a LAN,
they're not
that conversation's different because K Dot Fairy
right.
Peak
I
on LAN,
disagree.
like, oh,
I disagree.
really?
Yep.
Oh,
Who do you got corrupt?
Oh, so y'all
yeah.
want the right answer. Alright.
So I
Oh,
got
here we
Okay.
BDS
go.
Guild in
Here
the
we
finals.
go.
I'll finish that up later. I want to hear how Up's setting up his grand finals.
So here's the thing. Solary and Team Queso is a really good match. Okay, it's a really, really good match. I want to see Team Queso, but Solary has Astral, and I just don't see a world where Astral's gonna
Yep,
lose this.
not first
So,
round.
so I'm gonna say it's gonna go 5 first game to Queso, and then Astral is just gonna turn turn into to top 5 mode, and then they're gonna win the next set in
Get in
4
the
games.
backpack, Farah.
Yeah, and then they're gonna win the third game in 5 games. So I got Solary moving on.
Okay.
Now I got Guild. Just I think it's tough because top blokes have Archie, and I really like Archie,
Archie's so good.
but I just don't see a world where they're gonna beat Guild at all.
He doesn't have
So
enough with
and
him. It's just him.
yes, so I got Guild going on, beating top blokes. I would say 4 games each set, or 4 games in 4 games in each.
Back to back
Yeah,
sweeps.
no, not no. It's a best of 3. No, it's best of 5. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
So
You're right. You're right. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
3-1 in both. I got you.
Then out of Solary and top blokes, I got Solary because I think
Yeah.
as a team, Solary has finally like started to click. Um, we can say a lot about like Farah, Jacette, and Ashel carrying, obviously, but um, I just think they've just played together better as a team and are finding their stride, especially more the top blokes. So I have them moving on, and
Let's not forget that you guys keep saying Fair on the backpack. Fair was captain of Oxygen with Shotset on the team, like, or Fair is still captain, like
I
he's
don't
captain of the
think
team.
Wasn't
I
that
think
at
I
the
don't
point when Shawset was arguably the best player in the world, though? So like
Right. It, it,
even then,
it was.
Farrah's in someone's backpack. Just because he's captain doesn't mean he's
Fair
I
was
not
don't
a
think
hitching a
leader.
ride.
I don't think Farah's been in the backpack like for the especially last major. I think he was playing well. It's just that they lost because they had to play BDS.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, I got Guild. No, yeah, I got Guild moving on, and I got Solar being top looks. Uh, I would say
So wait, did we all end up with
probably
the same semis?
yeah,
Is it
yeah. We have
Vitality
is
Guild, BDS Solary?
yes, yes,
No,
yes.
Okay.
I'd kiss so.
Okay.
Oh
I
yeah,
wanted to
okay.
make
So, oh,
sure. I
okay,
thought so.
okay.
But either way, the same 3 teams at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got Guild being Vitality.
Yeah,
I
buddy.
just think that it's such a travesty because Alpha 54 is just so good, so
Hmm.
good. But I just don't think that I just think K Dub and Fairy Peak are on decline, and
They're grandpa
I just
mode.
don't
They're
think
they're out there with their walkers.
yeah, and I just don't think that they're gonna be able to beat Guild, especially just the way that Guild plays, just the way that Guild has been playing recently, like taking games away from BDS and like almost beating them in the last major. I just don't think that Vitality's gonna be able to beat Guild at all. So I got Guild moving on, but I think it's gonna be 5 games. No, it's best of 7 now, so
Yeah, these are 7.
I think it's gonna be 7 games in each one. Each each set is gonna be 7 games.
Bet.
Um
Wrong.
Now BDS Solary,
Now you
it
got
just depends.
Vitality winning one of those sets, right?
Yeah, I got Vitality winning one
All
set,
right.
and
Gotcha.
then Guild just winning the last one.
So we're getting
So
all
BDS,
21 out of that one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So now it's BDS Solary. BDS is gonna win. It's just this BDS, marked by extra Monkey Moon dominance in a hard region that's EU continued throughout the whole season. There's no reason to doubt that they're gonna lose against Solary unless they're all just playing absolute terribly.
Yeah,
So I got them moving
Farrah's
on.
got to play out of his freaking mind.
Yeah.
All right,
So I
let me
got
say
them moving
this.
on.
Let
What's
me
up?
say this. Of the four teams, Top Lokes, Guild, Solar, Team Queso, who would have the best chance against BDS?
Guild already proved it. They swept them in the regional and then followed it up by beating them in the finals.
I would say Guild, but I think Queso would come close. I just the problem with Queso is that everyone says this, but it's just that they are really good or just absolutely terrible. It's just there's no in between for that
Right.
team at
They
all.
they play like a solo queue team, and BDS is too sound to put
Whoa,
to get
whoa, whoa,
away
whoa.
with it.
You say Queso's a solo queue team?
As in, like
No,
they
no,
all
no.
go for the ball, like
They
their
they
play
are a
style, like
very
it's fast.
fast. Like they're almost like a Sam play style. They love just zooming
Oh,
around.
they're very
They're
fast. I'll
very
agree with
ball
that.
chasey. So that's what I
Yeah,
mean. I wasn't trying to. I guess phrasing it that way might have been a little disrespectful, but
I was like, what are you talking about?
all
Okay,
I
okay,
was
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to say is I think that Queso is going to make too many mistakes anytime
Yeah.
they play BDS to ever actually get by them.
Yeah, and I will agree. Like Queso's very aggressive. I think that's what they have going for them. And yeah, they are either popping off or they're like, what are they doing type gameplay.
They'd have to play the
Um,
cleanest Rocket
but
League of their
but
life.
that's kind of what you need, honestly. Like if anybody's gonna have a chance, you need the team that's gonna risk it. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's why Queso has beaten them in the past. Um, so yeah, I mean,
But yeah,
but
that's why you've still got BDS in the finals, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
I just wanted to hear your guys' thoughts because
Yeah,
BDS is the clear favorite,
yeah, 100%.
and but yeah, I mean, I would put, yeah, Guild and Queso for sure. Like if pick two teams, I'd put Guild and Queso against them. But I mean, both of them, I don't think they could get them.
Um, so let's see. You've got BDS Vitality in the finals, and then me and
Yep.
Corrupt have BDS Guild.
Yes,
All right, so BDS Vitality, 2 sets. Is Vitality going to get a set off them?
I say no. If they do, I don't. I just don't think so. I think it'd be
I don't know.
close. I think it'd be
I'm
close.
asking
Like,
Dan. He's the one that
okay.
predicted Vitality
Yeah,
there.
nah. I think Vitality takes it. Vitality takes it. I mean, it's just hard to go against them.
BDS takes it. Yeah.
Thing is, if it was earlier in the season, in the spring split, anybody could win. You know, like Top Lokes was making it to the final. You know, like like literally any team could make it to the semifinals, grand finals. So like I would say, oh well, it's not like a guarantee, but it's the end of the season. They're locked up. They're ready to go, and they've had the spotlight on them all year, so they're just used to it by now. And they're like, okay, well we're gonna do this like we've been doing it the whole seat. Like we they have the most points. What is it like? They like triple up some teams. It's crazy.
Yeah. Um. So you've got BDS in 2 sets over him.
Yeah.
All right. Corrupt. What about you? Guild BDS.
Uh, oof.
I know. I'm
I
sitting.
think.
I'm letting you go first because I honestly haven't decided yet.
I think it's tough. It's gonna be a close match. I think I have Guild taking the first set in 6 games, and then I have BDS taking the second set in 6 games. I think I have BDS taking the third set in 7 games.
I got you. All right. So BDS overall.
Yes.
Just for the memes, for the content, and because they've done it before, I'm gonna take Guild.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think
Wow.
that's kind of
a nice
insane. Not gonna lie.
exclamation mark. Uh, they're looking at they feel they didn't get the respect from beating BDS in the regional, and so they wanna put a little poop at the end of BDS's magical season. Um,
So let's say they do win.
okay.
What will happen to Guild? Like, how big would this be for like these teams?
For a team like Guild,
Like,
it'd be huge because I mean BDS they are European Rocket League right now. Nobody else can even sniff them. So, and I don't think, and I would like to be fact checked. BDS has not lost in a grand finals this season. Every time
No,
they have
they
made,
are 14. No, I think they're 15 and 0 now. They're
yeah.
15 and 0.
So that's what I mean. Guild has a chance to just put a little smudge on the end of the season. So I'm gonna go Guild in 6 in set one. BDS is gonna be bad and come out and like 4-1 them in set two,
Okay.
and then Guild in 7 in set three.
Ooh. You know, I will
Pretty big.
say Rocket League has a way, the flair of the dramatic. They know how to go to game 7. They know how the OT winner. I think
And that
if
dude
they're if
Nolly
it's
has
gonna
that
happen,
ice.
if it's gonna happen,
It does
that's
have
how it's
ice.
gonna end.
Dude, Nolly does. He's not afraid. I'm sure you guys saw him on First Touch. That's a dude with some confidence and some seriously good hair. I mean, he's just gonna be walking in there like he's gonna pop off. I just he's gonna be so focused. He's the one I think is feeling disrespected and not getting the love he feels he should get after what they did in that regional against BDS. So yeah, I got Guild in 3. I'm gonna throw it out there. Let's
I would
end
like to mention too, I said that they've had kind of the spotlight on them and they're used to it at this point, but if it goes to that final set and it comes down to game 7, they're gonna have the weight of the world on their shoulders. Everyone gonna
that's
be
Yes,
looking
they
at them
do.
like, okay, well you like won all these points, so like you better be the favorite. They're gonna be thinking that in the back of their mind. I don't care like the experience. I don't care anything like that.
yeah, that'll
They're
be
they're
the
gonna
first
be
real pressure they've
feeling it
had.
hard.
Now the
So
flip side of that coin is they've been in the grand finals pressure in majors before. I don't think Guild has. Has Guild made a major final this season?
Has
pretty
Guild
sure they
made?
have, right?
Has who
Yeah.
made? Perry? Did
Guild
you
made
say?
a major final. They won the regional. I know
No, they
that,
have not. No, they have. I don't. I do
but in
not
terms
think
of a
they
major,
have
I
that.
don't think they
Let
did.
me look real fast.
But that's the flip side to the coin, is what I'm getting at. For all the pressure that BDS has from having the spotlight on it, they also
They've
have the
made
experience that comes with that spotlight.
they've made every single major, but the highest that they've done is third or
Okay,
fourth.
so they can play like we all know that, um, but if they make it to that Sunday, it's going to be a new experience for them. And if I hadn't seen Nolly look as cold blooded as he did on First Touch, I probably don't make this prediction. But that dude just looks like he's gonna ice up on Sunday.
We'll see.
Yes, sir.
Um, let's
Now it's a time for the yes, sir.
everyone wants it. The number one region, as we all know, doesn't even matter.
Let's go, baby.
Let me pull it up on here so I can see it a little better for myself. NA RLCSX Championships, baby. Whew. This is
I'll go first for this one.
he's excited. Let's hit let's some of the big storylines here before we start making predictions. Obviously, the biggest one that pops into my head is Sis not being able to coach for NRG in those semis.
Uh,
I'm not
ah,
saying it's going to be a huge deal for them because I don't think
LOL.
it will, but it is a question. It is something of notoriety that definitely needs to be brought up when talking about their chances in this tournament. Um,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think for NRG, I think if it was a team like Rogue or G like Rogue or FaZe especially, uh or Space Station Gaming, if Sis like wasn't able to make it for and he was like the coach for one of those teams, I'd be a little bit worried. But since it's NRG and they have all three of them are land winners, they are good under pressure. I just think that, and it looks also like Justin's mentality has improved. I think that it won't really matter all that much for semis, especially. Um, and I don't think it will matter for grands at all either. To be honest, I just don't think that Sis not being there will have any effect on NRG at all.
Yeah, I mean, It's hard to say because all the teams in the tournament are good. So obviously just having that little extra help there is big. I don't think it makes the biggest difference necessarily. I know they introduced like timeouts and things like that, but like people really haven't been utilizing them that much in our LCS.
And
So
and the other thing
I
is, I mean, Corrupt's right on. I mean, this is an experienced team in NRG.
exactly,
They got
yeah.
the
Yeah.
So
general. The general.
well, and I believe it's only one.
It's only one. It's
Um,
only for semifinals.
Yeah.
it's
So
only for semis.
Yep.
yeah, it's only for semis.
Yeah.
Um.
So I
So
mean,
if they
I
make
I don't see it.
grands, yeah,
Not too
Um.
much of a factor. Yeah, it shouldn't be that bad.
And we'll see who we think they're going to match up against. The other question I have is how important is this major for Drees with G2?
I think it's pretty big for him. I think that if he like just does absolutely dog, that he's probably not gonna be. He's probably gone
I agree.
off of
Mhm.
G2. And they're gonna pick up someone else. But I have him as this is gonna sound really crazy. Okay,
Hit me.
so but bear with me. I think that if NRG doesn't win, it's gonna be G2.
Woo!
Wow,
You know, I
making the
Uh,
run, huh? You got G2 making
I
the
have
run.
G2 making the run. I think that they have consistently been getting better each and every single regional. Besides that one where they didn't make it out of, I think it was, they didn't make it past day two. But I
wasn't
think that
that
was
Drees'
just
first one.
that was his second one.
Okay.
And it was just unfortunate, I think. But then they made it to second. I think that they have a really good chance. And I think overall, Chicago's informed, JNAPS is especially informed. And I think that I think if they beat FaZe, they're gonna go to finals. But if they
They
lose to FaZe, it's over, obviously.
they looked good in the major, and I mean, we all know how good NRG is. They did not back down in that finals.
Yes. I just think that overall, this is really good. I think if that they make it to semifinals, then Drees is probably gonna stay unless they have a chance to get Mist or Daniel or
Mm.
uh
Ooh.
like I think he's gonna stay unless they have a chance to get like a top tier player like Mist, Daniel, AJ, or uh maybe I think those are really the only players I think that
Man,
they be willing to get. Or
and we're gonna have some fun with that next week as Roster Mania is gonna get started, and it's feeling like it's gonna be a big off season for moves. I think
All
there's
right.
gonna be a lot of switch up.
So corrupt. Who you got? G2 phase. Hello.
I think um, I think based on what he said, I think he's gonna take G2. Um, based on him
Yeah.
saying if it's not energy, it's G2. Um,
Oh, gotcha.
so we'll take this one. We'll just go matchup by matchup on this one. Um, so he's got G2. I got G2. What about you? Is there anything Face can do?
Man, I don't want to be the guy that's always doing differing opinions. Okay, so in the EU bracket, the lower round, it was Solary,
And the
and
Cheesy
I was
Boys.
I was I was saying Solary's underrated. They're the team that people they see all the time, and they got some name players, but like they don't give enough respect. I think FaZe is that in NA. I think FaZe Clan pulls out against G2. I think they come out on top. They go to the lower quarterfinals. That's my prediction on that. I think FaZe is very good. They got some good players. Again, I mean, it is very similar to the Queso Solary, where I think either team's gonna take it. But if I had to take the prediction, I'm gonna say FaZe pulling out the upset on this one. I think.
Oh, okay. I got G2. I think
I do too,
my biggest thing
obviously.
with FaZe is we all know AJ's going to show up. We know what he brings to the pitch. It's whether or not Gyro has his emotions in check that day. And I just when you live and die by that, when the pressure's on, it's 50-50. You're a coin flip at that point on whether that person's going to be able to hold it together for you.
And this is like the highest pressure situations as well. Besides, maybe the whole having to beat KCP to make it to championships in the first place.
Right.
But overall, I think that just this is a really big set. to like show how good of a team you are overall. Because this is like the fifth and sixth, or like the fourth and fifth seed facing off against each other. If this was in NBA terms, essentially. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you
Yeah.
have G2 moving by.
yes, I do. I do.
All right.
I think
Um,
it's gonna be a close set though. I do.
all right. So let's go ahead and move up to the upper quarters then. That's a good matchup in Space Station Rogue. Holy cow.
That'll be a fun game to watch for sure.
I think I have Space Station over Rogue. I just don't. I just don't think highly of Rogue. I'm not gonna lie to anyone. I really don't.
Dang. All right. All right.
I just,
I I I do think the hype was blown a little out of proportion coming out of winter. When because they won the winter
yeah.
major, right?
No, they did not win a major. The
No,
only
they
teams
won
that
the
won the
regional. Regional is
yeah, they won. Yeah,
they
yeah,
won
they
a
won the
regional.
regional, but not the major.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I mean, the hype train just got going when they won that regional. But
Yeah.
they haven't followed it up. I mean, they've looked good, but we know what they're coming with. It's first killer driving around the pitch, ball chasing to his heart's desire, which
Yeah.
he's got the skills. He's more than capable enough to do that. But and Taroko's coming into his own. But I think they can find a better option than Turo. I just yeah, I got
Yeah.
Space Station.
Yeah. Yeah. I have Space Station as well. I think Space Station looks like one of the best teams in NA. Rogue, I think I totally agree. It's first killer, and then who? Who's else on the team? I don't even know. So
Taroko
I mean,
and Turinturo.
no, I know who's on the team. I'm saying.
I'm making sure
Um,
anyone out there that's watching that may not know.
but I think Rogue will be one of those teams that is, depending on how well they do in these championships, if they don't finish well, I think they're going to be one of those teams that's like, we're going to need to make a change,
Yeah,
and they're going to be looking for, you know, a lot of people I know in the Discord channel been talking about Daniel going to Rogue and replacing, you know, one of the two players,
If he
not
replaces
first killer,
anyone, I think it's gonna be Turin. It has to be Turin. I just don't see a world where they get rid of Taroko at all, and
Yeah.
obviously not Chris.
is there enough
Yeah, and I
room on the pitch for Daniel and first killer? Like, is Daniel gonna be willing to take that back seat to first?
I think
yeah.
a lot of people just don't think about this, but Daniel's just not gonna be as good as a lot of people. Unless if he is as good as First Killer was during Winter Split, then he's already one of the greatest players of all time.
I mean,
But I just don't think
I see him beating up all these pros on their YouTube videos all the time. I mean,
I just don't think
Squishy's probably got like 20 videos he hasn't uploaded because there was a loss to Daniel in there.
Right.
I don't know. I just don't think that I think he's gonna struggle a bit, like how all these good rookies do. Like First Killer struggle for a bit, Scrub struggle for a bit, Noli struggle for a little bit. I just think that he's gonna struggle, but then he's just gonna take off like First Killer.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
But
yeah, I mean, there is something to say about having players that are used to scoring goals, are used to be kind of the more selfish ones on the team and going for the ball every single time, and yeah, I mean, bring up the point of like first killer and Daniel on the pitch. I mean,
mm,
um, yeah, I mean that kind of leaves whoever the third player is kind of back like by themselves, so they have to be reliable to make the saves and things like that. So I
yeah.
mean,
yep,
it's definitely something to talk about, and I I'm really excited to see how these teams are changing in the offseason.
All right, now
I
I wanna fly. I know Corrupt's playing. Got a league match tonight for one of his Rocket League. I know
yeah,
he's got
I
to
just
take off in a
wanna
few. I want to
yeah,
hear the rest of your bracket real quick.
oh I
Just real
have
quick.
yes
Um,
sir. I got I got Space Station being Rogue, and then I got Envy beating Space Station,
okay,
and I got if I got Rogue losing to G2, and then Energy and G2 in my opinion is a 50-50, but I'm gonna have Energy obviously beating G2 because it's Energy. I have Energy overall winning the whole event
gotcha.
All
over
right.
Envy. Yep.
Um,
But I just want to say, check your DMs, Perry. But I just want to say thank you everyone for coming out. I unfortunately have to go. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I hope you continue to enjoy the stream because I know Dano and Perry are gonna keep it up, and you're gonna see our teams for FanRL. Please roast me when you see how bad my team is. But
yeah,
overall, I
yep,
just want to thank everyone for coming out, and we appreciate everyone. And cannot wait to see you guys next week.
yeah.
All right, thanks for
Hey, thanks for up. Good luck
See you
tonight.
guys. Too.
Um, So Corrupt's got NRG. Um, Now I think we had the same on the top. You took Space Station.
I took Space Station. Yep.
Yeah,
So
so
I
we
think
both got
do we have
Space
all
Station
three?
Envy.
Yep.
The difference
Agreed.
is I've got Rogue G2 in the lower quarters, and you've got Rogue Phase.
Yep.
Um, I think G2, like Corrupt said, is looking really good with Drees. I think they're finding their footing. Chicago JNaps, don't need to say anything else about them. I think they're gonna take care of first in the boys. What about you? How's Phase and Rogue stack up in your mind?
FaZe and Rogue, I think that'll be a good matchup. Um, you know, we've talked about it. Rogue is first killer and the other team, so it'll be a good kind of test. For FaZe Clan, I think Rogue pulls it out. I think, first killer is kind of on a level of his own, um, a little bit, on his team, but that's not saying they're bad. That's not saying they can't make plays. They can't set them up for good plays. So I see Rogue pulling it out. So I got Rogue and NRG in the semifinals.
Ooh, interesting. Now those two have battled before. So let's take a look at that. Um, let's take a look at that top half where we've got the same. We've got that MB Space Station matchup. Um, I'm actually going to take Space Station there. Um, T Base talks about the machine all the time, but from what it sounds like, they ain't putting in the work. They're not putting in hours. Reynolds is always going to talk his talk, and he usually backs it up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I think Sipical is going to come out like a man possessed uh, with
Yeah.
the blasphemy they were speaking on that top players list. I think he's going to be mad because they're saying he ain't the old Sip. He's going to show them. They going to learn today. Well, not today,
Yeah.
but this week. But so
Typical.
yeah,
Typical is definitely one of those players where I watch him and I think he's one of the players that is underrated that doesn't get enough credit. So yeah, I
because
definitely
it's
could see that
Arsenal
happening.
driving around, creating chaos, slow playing. Reynolds covering the midfield, and Sipical's just always where he needs to be. He's so reliable, and he can go off at any moment.
Yeah,
Um,
that's that's probably the best I've heard describe Space Station. Yeah, that's great.
what about you? MB Space Station.
I got Space Station.
Okay,
I don't. I think Envy's overrated.
I do too.
Yeah, Envy.
Um,
I mean, Space Station is very, very good. I think, as a team, I think they're the best in NA. Envy has been one of those teams that people keep putting. People like Johnny Boy throw out like the tier list, and people make these rankings of teams, and Envy's always up there. And I'm not saying Envy's bad, but in terms of speed, in terms of mechanics, in terms of making plays that are going to set your team up for the win, I think Space Station takes Envy. Um, I'm not saying it's going to be a 3-0, I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout, but I think Space Station
yeah,
wins in
I'm
the
on the same page.
goes to, goes to
I,
grand finals.
I think MB has a lot of success because they're super consistent. I mean, Mista is one of the best defensive players in all of Rocket League. Turbo has more experience than just about anyone else in Rocket League. And Atomic, we know how good he is if he would just use the Fennec. Like that's the real question. Um, but I got Space Station in 3 sets. Um,
Yeah.
so
Also, I feel,
but
Turbo Pulsa, right? This man wins championships. So
he's goaded.
he's my one guy. He's the Tom Brady as much as people hate him of Rocket League. He's
Hmm.
the guy that you're gonna bet against him, but he somehow pulls it out. And
Yeah,
so I'm like, well, if any team is gonna beat Space Station, it's gonna be Envy. But man, I still got Space Station. I don't know. It's hard to say, but yeah, Turbo somehow manages to pull it out.
yeah,
He
he's
he's
that
one of
old head.
those players that just finds a way. It's not necessarily mechanics. It's a little bit of luck combined with a little bit of magic. So I think
Yeah,
he could pull out Space Station. I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, he's something else. Um, Now on the flip side, so we both got Space Station up top, grand finals.
Yep.
Um, NRG versus G2 for me, and you got the general going up
NR
against Rogue, right?
yes. Yep. Who do you got?
Um, Even without Sis, I can't go against NRG. Um, there's definitely a little fanboy in there. Um,
Yeah.
Now, I would do want to clarify, Justin. I think his head is going to be in a better place.
Mhm.
I did hear rumors that the light was not actually on. It was just he didn't have his blackout curtains, so the room looked lighter. But he has had
Okay.
some time off. I saw him. He was streaming the other night, so he's definitely playing, getting hours in. Um,
Yeah, it's good to see him in a better place for sure, and I think that's only gonna help his play.
and and they just beat him in the last major final. So
Right? That's
while it was
huge.
a good matchup, I do think it'll probably go that 3 sets. But I'm
How
gonna take
fun was that, you know? I mean, I don't know how much you know the G2 Energy rivalry, but I I love seeing Energy and G2 in the finals. That's
it's
just
just one
fun
of
to
those
watch
classics.
because you know you just got the big names, you got the people that everyone knows, and everyone there's just a lot more hype around it. So I mean, I would love to see that matchup.
Now the question is, so I've got energy going by uh, G2. Are they
Hmm.
gonna get by Rogue if they run into him?
I think that'll be a good match. Honestly, Rogue Rogue is a little hit or miss for me because first killer we know is going to do well, but if his, you know, Turnturo, Taroko, if those guys can step up, I think they can pull it out.
Yeah.
But if they can't, I think energy, you know, energy is just a force. And so you really need to bring your A game. And
Hmm.
if it's a B plus game, you're out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I got energy winning it. I think it'll be close. You know, but yeah, I got energy in the finals
So
versus
we got
Space
the same
Station.
finals.
Yes,
Corrupt had Envy in there instead of Space Station, but we've got Energy and Space Station. So with all we've said, I mean, we've said just about all that we can about Energy and Space Station. I mean, we all know these are two of at least the top 3 teams, if not the top 2 teams in NA right now.
absolutely.
So I think them meeting in the grand finals, RLCS championships, only a fitting end. Um, and I'm gonna go with that number one NA team, the team that's been in it all year. Every Sunday they've been there. They're gonna be there. It's the general. It's NRG. It's Garrett G. It's Justin. It's
The
Squishy.
general.
Um,
I love it.
they're gonna get it done. They're gonna after getting through those semis, they're gonna get Sis back in that call on Sunday, and they're just gonna be having a good old time. Um, Again, I'm actually gonna take NRG in 2 sets, but I think both sets are going 7 games. So
Yeah.
I got
I mean,
energy
it will be
two
a good
sets.
matchup. I think Space Station is almost on another class than Energy. I think they are faster. I
Ooh,
think they have players that not only have the mechanics, because I think that's the big thing is Energy has the mechanics against worse teams. I think Energy can make them
Marco,
look really
yo.
bad, and they can make these plays that are incredible. You know, you see all these highlights on Reddit and things like that from Energy, but
Mm-hmm.
against very high tier
Let him
teams,
know, Clutch. Let him
they
know.
oh geez, here we go. So
Teammate
yeah, so
space. Yes.
let's talk about Squishy for a second.
Let's talk about
Squishy
him.
is a great player. He has great mechanics, but he doesn't have the speed. He's one of those players that sadly I
He
was a
just
huge fan of, or I am still a fan of Squishy, but he is not keeping up with the game, kind of where it's at. And he's one of those players that looks good against great teams, does not do good against the great teams. And Space Station is one of the best teams. I think they're top 2 or 3 in the world currently. So um, because of that weak, the little chink in the armor, I think NRG gets taken down by Space Station.
Oof.
I'm not saying blowout. I'm saying, 3 sets, and I'm thinking last set Space Station sweeps them. Space Station just has the team plays. They have the communication. They just seem like they're on the same level, and I don't see them getting beat by NRG strictly because they are a functioning team. They have the mechanics. They have the team play. Everything's there for them. NRG, they have 95% of it. They just don't have the whole pie. So I
You
got
know,
Space Station winning it.
folks, I would like to be able to tell you um, that he was saying all that blasphemy for the content, but that is that man's real opinion. He is apparently
Who,
in our
who's who's
Squid.
disagreeing with that? Space Stations
Everyone,
look
you're
way
saying
better.
Squishy doesn't have the speed?
Watch some real games. Don't watch them against like some crap teams. Watch them against some real teams. Watch them
You
against
mean like
you know
the
what?
major that they just won? Where
Yeah.
where was Space Station on Sunday? Hmm?
You know what? They weren't
Hmm?
there,
Hmm?
but they'll be there
But
on the
yeah,
20th. They'll
you
be
were
there on the 20th.
all right.
Mark my words.
All I'm saying is it's hard to be on an. I mean, I will
At
say you
at
did,
me on the 20th.
folks. He did say SSG was on another level. He just didn't clarify that it is a level below NRG. Because that's the only place you can be
Wow.
when they just won the last major. So
Hey man, the blind squirrel
it's
finds a nut.
it is
The blind
going
squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
it is going to be one hell of a week of Rocket League. I cannot wait because I'm going to sit here with free play open on one monitor, my stream open. We're going to have some watch parties going this week. But now, before we wrap it up here, I do want to talk a little bit about our teams, our fantasy teams, the reason we are all here. Boom.
All
Oh,
right.
I need to make this
Let's,
bigger. Hang on, I forgot to fix this one.
so she
Dun
said.
dun dun, dun. And center. Boom. All right, we're back in here. So, we obviously have 5 people up there, and 3 of them are not here. But I have a handy dandy list. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill these out for him. I won't go into too much detail, but we'll start with Thur's team. He's got Justin. He said the lights on. Anytime the lights on, it's a dub for NRG. Next, he's got Astral. We've said just about everything we can
Mm,
about him. That dude is
mm, mm, mm.
something. This one surprised me a little bit. He's going for Turin Turo. So he must think
Wow.
that Rogue's in for a good weekend because if Turin Turo is going to play well, we know First Killer is. So that means Rogue probably is going to do decent if he's playing well.
Yeah, I'd love to see where he has Rogue finishing in the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Next, he's got one of the old heads in EU, Devo. Probably a
Oh,
really good value pick at 1250.
he's
Really good.
very low on the. I think he is it. I think he's the lowest price point for
Yep, him
fantasy right
and
now.
him and Drees, I believe. Drees was also 1250.
Mm,
And then to
the guild
round out
picks.
his team, he's got Chicago. You can't go wrong with him. I mean, especially at 1550, I'm kind
Yeah.
of regretting not having him on mine, but either way. So there's Dur's team.
All right.
Let me jump
Pretty
over.
solid squad, I'd say.
It is. It's not bad. Let me go ahead
Anything with
and
anything with Astral on it, you gotta feel
right.
happy about.
So our boy Clutch, I think he's still in chat, but we'll run through his. He's also got Justin to start it out. He's gonna go extra. BDS. I mean, extra. We all know what he did. He took BDS to another level. Excuse me, I'm struggling to get words out, but he came on to BDS and just they exploded. Um, Next, he's got Mist, one of the steady pick in NA. Can't go wrong. Arguably top 5, top 10 player in the world. I think he was top 7 on just about everyone's list the other night. Um, then he's got Reddles, which I was loving Reddles at that price point. 1350 is pretty. pretty good bargain if you ask me.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's some Reynolds and Arsenal.
hmm
Arsenal's at that 1250, so he's definitely a bargain pickup.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, all the space station is kind of low on the value, which you might see some more of that later. Um, let me pull up the DM from Corrupt. Wow, we've got a theme here in the first row. And then he's also going to grab Chicago. He is going to grab, I like this pick, marked by 8. Also going to grab Nolly, which I like. Nolly, I think, is in for a big weekend. And he's going to round at Arsenal at that 1250 price point, like we were talking about. I think that's a good pick as well. Um, so, Dan, why don't you tell me a little bit about your team? Who you got?
All right, so looking at players, this was something that when I personally look at the list of free agents to take for my fantasy team, gotta look at the lowest first, and you look at the bottom, and you're like, hey, who's really good on the bottom? Who's underrated? So I picked up Arsenal at 1250.
I
I
like it.
think that I mean, I got Space Station winning, so it's hard not to pick up him, right? So then I keep moving up the list, and I'm like, okay, Devo, Dries, Farrell. I'm like, okay, pretty good players. And then I see Reddles, got to pick up Reddles.
Nice.
Again, I
Yep.
got Space Station winning it, so I got them doing very well, um, winning a lot of games. So got
Perfect.
Reddles in there.
So the double space station. Yeah, I like that. I agree. I think
Y-
they're in for a big weekend.
yeah, and really just for the price point, it'd be different if they were up that like the 15, 1600, but
You
because
get
they're so low
so
price, it's
much
hard not to
value.
pick them up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Even if they don't do well, I mean, you're gonna probably get your points out. I got Dementia from Team Queso.
love it.
I
High
got
quality team.
Astral because Astral is
Say no more, fam.
best in the world
He's
mechanically,
Astral.
without a doubt. It's Astral. And then to round it out, second best player in the world, Monkey Moon, BDS.
Ooh. So who's your first then? Is it first or is it Justin for best player in the world? Because you just said second best for Monkey.
Oh, I said Astral, Monkey Moon. But just in like top 8.
Top 8. Did you hear that blasphemy? I will not
I'll
stand
put
for
him in,
this Justin slander.
and and by top 8 I mean number 8.
Oh my god. Chat, help me. SSG's on another level, and Justin's 8th best player in the world. What?
Well,
All right, I need to collect my thoughts. I'm gonna go on to my team because that's gonna help me settle down.
all right. Let's see what you
This
got.
this is this is the team that y'all are competing with. So I'm gonna start it out very similarly. Oh, I can't type though. I got Astral. He's anytime Solarie's in an event, he's gonna put up points for him. Next I have got Mist. Again, defensive, reliable. You start adding up
Is what
those.
he's not. Is what he's not. Go ahead. Sorry.
He's a defensive guy, and so when you're looking at points, you're going to get it from saves. He's obviously going to get involved in the offense, but that man puts up a ton of saves as well on the defensive end. So when I'm looking for
True.
points, I'm loving the look of Mist. Next, I'm going to throw Mark by 8 in. I can't spell though. It is not Macra by 8. Like they were saying on their top list the other night. I mean, Mark by 8, one of the best ball chasers in the world, along with First Killer. Um,
Yeah.
he's in such a good system with Monkey Moon and Extra being as reliable as they are, just so smart, such high field IQ that Mark can just zoom around the field and just cause chaos. So I got Mark by 8 there, and then I also jumped on board the space station train. Typical at 1450 blows my mind. That is the highest priced space station player in the field. So
Pretty incredible.
yes. And so to follow it up, I went ahead and grabbed Reddles as well. I got him in the finals. I think they're both going to play well. I'm getting a ton of value for them. So I love that stack there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, folks, I'm going to Clutch, can you link the FanRL site again real quick? I'm gonna grab the login info here and spam that again for you guys. These are the teams that you guys can go battle it out. FanRL.com. And you use this ID and password, and get your rosters in by Tuesday. And you can battle it out with us, see how you stack up for RLCS championships, and then come next season, we're gonna have that going all season long, so we can see who really knows what the hell they're talking about when it comes to Rocket League.
Perry, can we talk about Mist real quick?
Yeah, bring it.
All right.
Is
Mist,
he a missed opportunity because he's
he
not on your
needs
team?
he needs to change the last letter of his name to an S because it should be Myth because he just keeps missing the dang ball. You know what I mean?
All right. I
This
mean,
guy is very good. He's on a good team. Is he on the top tier team? No. Is he one of the best players on
whoa, whoa,
like
whoa,
a
whoa,
good
whoa,
team?
whoa, hang on. I gotta pause it right there. Did you just? Not only are you slandering Miss, but you are saying he's not on a top tier team. Did I hear that correctly? You're saying Envy's not a top tier team?
Like when I say top tier, I guess I would say they're not top 4 NA.
The points say otherwise, and that's over an entire season. So, uh,
Wait, didn't you have them getting beat?
I do the space station,
Okay.
but I I was just pointing out that you said he wasn't on a top tier team. I was just jabbing at you.
He's on a I mean, they're in the
Exactly,
championship.
Clutch. Thank
You,
you.
you
Yeah, I guess at this point we got to get a little nitpicky when we're talking about who's good and bad. There's only 6 teams.
yeah, I mean when there's only 16, that's what I mean.
Right.
Like we're in the if you're in the championships, you're obviously a good team.
Yeah.
Um but Mist I think is the worst player on that team.
Whew. Even Turbo? Even
Yeah.
Octane
I would
Atomic?
pick Turbo far above Mist.
Even Octane Atomic?
Turbo wins championships. The man's he has facts. He's not like, oh well,
Mr.
he is good.
Mr. Octane Atomic.
I think Atomic's great.
But Octane Atomic.
I think Miss isn't good.
No, Octane Atomic isn't good. Mist is very good. And so is Fennec Atomic.
I mean, is he
Um,
very good compared to me? Yeah, but is he very good against pro players? No.
um, yeah. I don't know. All I know is this week I've been waiting a month for some good Rocket League again.
I'm so
We've
excited for the
had some
championships.
CRL, we've had the level next gaming, so we've had some. We've had Johnny Boys show matches, but man, do I miss RLCS, and I cannot wait for Tuesday. Um,
I'm so excited. I'm pumped.
yeah, I know. I'll coordinate with you guys, and we'll put something out. Um, to let you guys know. But we are going to be doing some watch parties this week, especially Sunday for Championship Sunday. But just keep an eye, hit that follow button so you know when we're going to be going on. Hit the notification bell so you can join us for those watch parties. Nothing like watching Rocket League with other people who like Rocket League and talking trash at the same time because you're all
Yeah.
going to be trying to beat my team, but I'm just going to be sitting there laughing at all you.
Yeah. Come laugh at Perry with me.
Yeah. Dan, before we get out of here, is there anything else? Any shout outs you want to give? Any last words?
Shout out to you, Perry. Shout out to you for putting this on. Shout out to you guys for doing this podcast. I'm happy you guys are doing it. I had fun doing it. I'm
Yeah.
happy chat got a chance to trash talk me, tell me how bad I am, and
Let him know, Chad.
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Folks are playing, like I said, gonna be doing watch parties throughout the week. And then next Sunday, we're gonna be going live, watching the RLCS Championship Sunday, and then going live with our podcast for some instant reactions following that. So definitely be sure to tune in next Sunday. We're gonna have some fun. It's gonna get loud. It's gonna get crazy.
Yeah, and also Clutch. I didn't say NRG wasn't top tier. I think NRG is the second best team in NA behind Space Station, and it's a close, it's a close second behind Space Station. But Envy, I don't think they're top 4. But All right, sorry, last note.
I'm excited. It's
It'll be fun.
there's
Fun to
only so
watch.
long I love talking trash, but like at a certain point I'm just like, ugh, get me out there. Let them play.
Right, let's go. Yeah.
Um,
Enough if ands. Let's do it. Yeah.
but yeah, so guys, fanrl.com. There's the info. Um, go ahead and join and hit us up. We're gonna be around. We're gonna keep this thing going. So tune in throughout the week. And have a good night.
All right. Thanks, Barry.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, guys.